So, I am back. I am back. Hopefully I'm really focused in. Haven't uploaded a video, I'll say like in a month? I don't know. Haven't been counting. Reason being is because all the ideas that I had kind of just went because of the cold weather. Everybody's been hiding. And all the tranches have been just very, what's the word, lethargic. So, one of them, the main one, the Goliath bird ear, has been in pre-molt too, so I don't want to take any video until she looks very pretty, because the previous owner did not take care of her well. So, but anyways, today we have exciting news because we have finally figured out the species of the micro centipede, and we'll be talking about that. And furthermore, we have a new member in the house, and I've uploaded him already on my social media and stuff like that. Member in the room, not the house, the member in the room. So I'll show you guys who it is in a couple seconds. But first, just wanted to say that, I'm actually having people, like the content I'm doing, so, it kind of makes me happy that there's people actually commenting, and, we're talking back and forth, which is nice. One of the, commenters, or whatever, is that even a word? I don't know, has actually been helping me figure out the exact species of the centipede, because, I was lost. I was very lost in trying to figure out the exact species, because I was looking in the totally different place. This species is not supposed to even be here, and I guess it's introduced in South Florida. But anyways, let's begin. Let's start checking out the little micro centipede, and I'll let you guys know what exactly, it is. So here we have him. It's really hard to see him because he's a centipede that moves a lot. But damn, I made him this little island so he can stay in one place, and even then. Give me 1 second. The species is very hard to record because it's so tiny. But this is a Newportia, or Newportia, however you pronounce it. Reason why I had such a hard time figuring out what species this was because I was only looking at centipedes from, the US, the United States, or just Florida. And nothing came up that looked like this, and I found a couple similar ones, but nothing really came up. And I remember that in Puerto Rico, I remember seeing a centipede very similar to this one, just a lot smaller, a lot smaller, and a lot thinner. And I had a proposition that maybe they could be in the same genus, and I had one of my viewers comment on the possibility of the species being an introduced or invasive species here in Florida, and they said that it could be a Newportia or Newportia, and I was like, let me search that up. I searched it up, and yeah, it was. I was very thanks to them, obviously, but I had a hunch over it, and this species is probably from the Caribbean. I don't know the exact species. We're just gonna name it Newportia sp. But it's a blind, if I'm not mistaken, it's a blind species of centipede, or a blind genus of centipedes. I could be mistaken. That's what I read online. But very small, and they have very weird behaviors. I would say that their behaviors are very, very cool. I mean, they're just cool to look at. These are tiny centipedes. They're not giant centipedes. As you can see, the terminal legs at the end right there, they're very long and thin, almost like their antenna. And what I've seen this little guy do is when he's ever hiding underneath something, or when he's trying to dig around, he starts shaking his antennas, not his antennas, his terminal legs like antennas. So I mean, it could be a behavioral thing, as in oh, there's a predator around, they're gonna aim for the back terminals. But I feel like even then, it'll be a if it's a big enough predator, it'll be a fatal wound. I mean, not sure though, not sure. But very cool little centipede. I don't know how big these guys get. To be honest, there was another one that we saw when we were over there in South Florida. Where'd he go? Oh, he's hanging off the thing. There was another one that we saw under another log when we were down in South Florida, and it was a lot smaller. But we only ended up taking this one. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is an invasive species here in Florida, or introduced, whatever it may be. But very cool little species, I would say. Has a really, really good and surprisingly good feeding response. I mean, I've seen this thing not lunge, but like throw its a little bit of he throws himself forward towards the food. I don't know if any of you have watched Godzilla Earth on Netflix, but this looks a lot like Ghidorah. So I think it's very cool that there's a centipede that's like this thin and like this little. It looks like Ghidorah, exactly like Ghidorah. Anyways, so his enclosure has been, for like the last 2 months, a very small tarantula enclosure that I got. I think it was Fear Not Tarantulas who sent me this. And he has just, or she, I don't know, been thriving in this enclosure, like absolutely thriving. For the most part, I feed it isopods because there's nothing really that small that I can give it. So I have an isopod culture that I just pick out whoever wants to be a sacrifice and I throw them in here. And next day there's no isopods in here. There's just bodies that ate. Very, very cool centipede though. I'm very, very intrigued in the species, and I didn't even know that they were a thing. I thought that soil centipedes was as thin as they get, but this is pretty thin. Not as thin as a soil centipede, but very cool looking and very very cool acting. It's like a mixture between a scolopendra and a soil centipede, which is very cool. And also thanks to that commenter, he also has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna find his YouTube channel and just put it down in the description below, because he helped me a lot trying to figure out the species of centipede. So thanks to him and his knowledge. So yeah, props to you, bro. Thank you. So hopefully I'm focused in. Now that we talked about that, like I said, thanks to that guy or girl, I don't know who it is. I gotta find them again. And then I'll tag them down in the description down below, and you can check out their stuff. They're pretty cool. So anyways, we're gonna talk about the new guy or girl. I don't know. It's another small centipede, but not for long because it's just a baby. Got this guy or girl, I would say about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, around there, almost a month ago. I actually purchased her all the way back in the beginning, the ends of December. So obviously it's January 22nd right now, so it's been a month since I got her. Or I purchased her. I just didn't get her till like the first week of January, only because, wow, I don't know any numbers. Wow, 3 weeks? No, it's been like 2 weeks. I purchased her, I ended up getting her the first week of January because of weather for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about her because I've had this species before, but I just feel very blessed to have the species again working with me. But yeah, I'll show you guys who I'm talking about. By the way, I named it Mars. His or her name is Mars, which is very cool to me because you'll see, guys, you'll see. I like it. Before I go into her enclosure, because her enclosure is right there, let's just appreciate, like, the bin setup, man. Center rack is all centipedes. Second rack is 2 centipedes and then 1 vinegaroon. Last is tarantulas. First is a centipede and a tarantula. And then the first, actually second. First is just millipedes and then an empty enclosure right there. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So, I have Mars set up in a bin from Hobby Lobby. They got great deals on enclosures over there. And by enclosure I mean bins, because bins are just, I would say, like the perfect enclosure for an animal. Glass enclosures can be good, and acrylic enclosures can also really be good, especially acrylic enclosures. But if you want something affordable and something that they're going to feel a lot more comfortable in because they're not going to see you, bins. You can drill how many holes you want on it, and they hold humidity perfectly. So bins, As you can see right here, I Did some holes on this side of the lid. This side I didn't do any holes. I am very sorry for the person talking in the background. That is my stepmother. We are not related. As I was saying, one side has holes, the other one doesn't. Which, it's my own experiment on this, and I probably shouldn't be experimenting with these kind of things because this animal is very expensive. But only reason I am doing it this way is because I've had problems with molting with centipedes, and part of me thinks that it was probably that I had too many holes on the top and a lot of holes on the side too. Holes on the side don't really have to do with humidity. They have to do with ventilation, but the holes on the top do have to do a lot with humidity. So I have this side with a lot less humidity, and then this one has a lot more humidity. If that's easier way to explain it. One side's humid, the other one's not. Let's open it up. So, as you can see, I have a heat pad. It doesn't get too hot. It's not one of those super hot heat pads. It's one of those pet store heat mats. They don't get too hot because they don't work well, so it's perfect for like a little tight area like this. And it keeps the temperature in here a lot warmer than the outside, which is really what I want. So looking at this enclosure, you can see that one side is very sandy and rocky, and then the other side is more, jungly and whatnot, or more humid and whatnot. And from what you can tell, it's a Galapagos. It's a little Galapagos, and the reason I have them in such an enclosure that's this big is because I saw online that these enclosures do very, very well for these species. Or the species does very well with these enclosures. I've kept them in little cups before. As they grew up, I just changed them out. But I've had not the best luck with that. So I decided to use something a lot different. And yeah, his name is Mars, or her name. She is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, Galapagos come in a lot of colors, but you guys can see that pink on the end is just very pretty. And I know the Galapagos lose color as they grow, but I've seen some have retained some of their color, and I hope that this is the one that does, because this species is the species in general is beautiful, especially the Peruvian one. That's like very jet black with big head. But this one, this specimen is just gorgeous specimen. It is lined up with holes all around for ventilation, and it's ready. I'm not taking any chances with mycosis with this guy. I've been feeding him pretty, like I was saying, I try to feed him on a set schedule, but sometimes he doesn't want to eat, so I just don't push it on him. And I think he might be in pre-molt. I'm not sure, to be honest. Doesn't look like he is. He just looks chubby. You can see his little faces popping up on this side. Look at him. I absolutely love Galapagos. Galapagos is just such a cool species. I think that they're very, very cool. And yeah, I obviously want to work with white legs, and I've worked with white legs before, but that was one of the species that I didn't have good luck with, even though it had ventilation and it had, from my experience, proper substrate. And it's just another species that I didn't have luck with. So this one I'm not taking any chances with. I'm keeping them temperatures very, very steady. I'm keeping humidity very, very steady, and I'm keeping the enclosure at something where he can have a choice of where to go. I mean, if he wants to stay somewhere drier, he can go over here. If you want to go somewhere that's a little moister or a little humid, you can see on that side. And this side right here is a little. It's not damp. It's not wet. It's just a little humid. The soil, compacts each, gets stuck to each other a little more. So that's just give you an idea on how humid it's on this side. But oh, man, I stutter a lot, but this centipede makes me stutter because it's so beautiful. I love the centipede. Like I said, the centipede is amazing. I love the centipede. Very excited to work with Galapagos. And so far I've had bad experiences with South American giants just because I don't know what happened. Those two that I had in the past didn't do well, and people were just saying it could have been bad luck. But part of me thinks that the reason I didn't do as well with the other two is because of the way my room is set up. I mean, I live in Florida, and Florida's already a pretty humid place. But I do have fish tanks. I mean, I have this Christmas mouse enclosure right there. I have the Histocrates gigas down there that has a giant water bowl inside. I have the, obviously the, trying to focus this thing, the Asian forest scorpion communal, both of them. I have the versicolor, which has a very humid enclosure too, and then I have the Bettas enclosure, which is beautiful. I just had to show it off, This is a beautiful enclosure. I love this enclosure. Very naturalistic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. Stuart, come down, Stuart. Come down. Come to Papa. That's Stuart, by the way. Okay, no more getting sidetracked. People online will show me their enclosures, or I'll see them, on Instagram and stuff like that. And I noticed that, wow, these enclosures, they look like they have not a lot of ventilation. I mean, most of their ventilation that I've seen with these species, they usually keep them at the substrate level. You usually keep them at substrate level, but other people would keep them like mid-level, or, I mean, I've seen even a guy from like a whole other country, like he keeps his ventilation very high up, and he doesn't have this problem. And his soil is a lot more wet, not wet, but more more humid. And I was like, why am I having this trouble? And I kind of just questioned this one. I was like, maybe it's not even the room. Maybe it's just setup, or I don't know. Maybe it's the pieces of wood I used back then, or the substrate I used back then. So I changed it up completely, and then hopefully this would ensure that I have a giant in the next couple months. So a couple months, like in a year. But yeah, that's Mars. I mean, Mars is really cool, if you ask me. He's probably my favorite animal in this room. Just I'm always checking on him, making sure everything's fine with him, because I want to stick to an animal that I can just take off with, like a giant. That's why I'm very serious about these little centipedes right now, because I know the Longipus can get up to 8 inches long. The Rio Grande polymorpha can get, I don't know how big it's gonna get, but I think it's already like almost full grown. And then obviously Oakley can get up to 12 inches, almost a foot long. So these are my projects, my little projects. But yeah, hopefully I don't look like I'm asked because I was playing with my hair for like the last 5 minutes. I think that's all for today. Very simple video introducing Mars, and then explaining the mystery of, I don't know, Ghidorah. I think I'm gonna name it Ghidorah. And obviously, like I said, thank you to that person in the comment section that ended up helping me out. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else for now. I mean, I might upload another video, probably like in a day, because I have another video, but it's probably gonna be for a separate video. But for this video, I think that's all. Make it nice, short and sweet. Thank you guys again, and yeah, you guys have a nice day. Stay blessed.